Hey there, my name is Tom, and like some of you out there, I've spent hundreds of hours playing Animal Crossing New Horizons on the Nintendo Switch. It's safe to say that I've spent countless hours with the new feature known as Terraforming, raising cliffs and splashing waterfalls well into the early hours of my mornings. So, I figured, why not? It would be awesome to share what I have learnt with you. Welcome to episode 1 of my Terraforming Tips and Tricks series, a series where I will cover everything you need to know about terraforming. The series will cover various things from the basics of grids and best ways to measure, the optimal methods to planning and building bridges and inclines, and I'm even going to cover awesome terraforming design ideas. So, if you're new to tech gaming, welcome aboard. I'd love for you to subscribe to me so that you don't miss out on any of my content, especially the next few videos. If you are back for more videos, welcome back, and make sure you have subscribed too if you haven't already. So with that out of the way, let's get into episode 1, where I will break down in detail the game mechanics of grids and the best ways to measure space in Animal Crossing New Horizons. Right, let me start off by explaining what I mean by the term grid, as this will be very important for the rest of the series. Now if you already know what I'm talking about, please stick with me here, as I am sure you will find some value to the information I will teach in this video. The term grid, in Animal Crossing New Horizons, refers to the game's ability to lay out the very floor beneath your player. In fact, your entire island is based on a grid. In this series, we will be referring to the grid space as what we know as tiles. Think of a checkerboard lying directly underneath the floor. You, as a villager, interact with this checkerboard on so many levels, no pun intended. Everything from items, materials, and structures stick to a minimum 1 tile grid limit. But there is such a thing as half a tile, and we will get to that in a later video. Now to break this down, let's use what I call the shovel method. When digging a hole with a shovel, the game will force you into one of the 3 spaces in front of you, depending on the angle you are facing. However, you will always dig up a 1 tile hole. This is also known as a 1.0 times 1.0 grid space, also known as a 1 by 1. Therefore, a 3.0 times 3.0 or a 3 by 3 grid refers to a 9 tile space on the floor, 3 across and 3 up and down. Now to put this into perspective, I'm going to show you all the current buildable structures in the game and how many tiles they take up, with direct reference to holes in the ground made by your shovel. You may use these grid sizes for future planning when you want to build a certain structure and want to know how much space you need. I will be covering in a later video what I have found to be the best methods to planning out space for certain structures and special areas in the game, whether it be a shopping district or simply the backyard of a villager. Now that we have an understanding of grid sizes, I'm going to share with you 3 really simple ways of measuring distance that I hope you will find useful when planning and constructing on your island. Tip number 1. Using a shovel to dig holes to pre-planned sizes. Yep, we have already covered this, but this is a surefire way of knowing how many tiles you need for a certain space on the floor. Simply digging up a perimeter or plotting holes in corners will allow you to not only know 100% the space you need, but it is a great way of pre-visualizing the depth and perspective to certain areas before you commit to building a structure there or dropping down loads of furniture and items. Tip number 2, counting the cracks in a cliff. Now I know that was a mouthful and it may seem tedious at first, but after a while your eyes will get used to it. Now see here, each single tile piece of cliff is accountable for 2 blocks of vertical rock. You can simply count the spaces per cracks in the cliff. This is an awesome way to determine waterfall sizing, equal ratios of cliff and waterfall, or planning for symmetry, especially if you are building features or spaces that utilize a cliff or waterfall as backdrops. Tip number 3. Utilize the grid sizes of do-it-yourself items on your recipe list. When you access the DIY recipes application on your Nook phone, you'll notice underneath each item title that the game will tell you the exact tile space required for that item. Again, the game refers to these in numbers of 1.0 times 1.0, referring to a single tile space, and so on and so on. This is a great way of double checking that you can actually fit that item you need in that perfect spot. And that's it. I didn't want to overload you with information in one video, and that's why I'll be covering terraforming in a series, because I know that there are some of you out there that find terraforming too daunting or too much work to handle at once. But if you take this information and just experiment and simply build, you'll find that terraforming is one of the best things to happen to the Animal Crossing series. The only downside is that it's super time consuming, but I've personally found, like some of you too, terraforming has been some of the most rewarding experiences in the game this far. Now in the next videos, I'm going to cover the best ways to build a bridge and an incline, and I will cover the grid requirements for those and show you with real game examples, methods on how to plan them out. Thank you so much for watching. If you did learn something new or I was helpful in any way, shape or form, I would be more than grateful if you liked the video. But what would be even better than that is that you shared this to a friend or someone you know that needs help with terraforming or could use this information as well. Thanks again so much for your time. I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Have a lovely day and enjoy the island life.